everybody, and welcome to the LTH product briefing. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by a team from Epiq. We have with us today Shah Karim, the CTO of Epiq's Legal Solutions Business, and Felicia Anderson, the VP of Product Management at Epiq. And we're delighted to be speaking today about the Epiq Services Cloud and Epiq Access. Welcome, Shah and Felicia.
Hi, thank you.
Glad to be here.
So can you talk a little bit about the background of Epiq Services Cloud and Epiq Access and what problems they were created to solve?
Sure. So we undertook this journey of building the Epiq Service Cloud about 2.5 years ago. And the real end goal of all of this was to ease life for our customers in consuming and managing their Epiq services. So whether it be first-party services, third-party services, or managing their accounts across all of these services, it can be a pretty onerous thing, especially for a client that uses a number of them. And the Service Cloud has done is sort of streamlined all of that into a single place for clients. The other goal here was to provide a data-driven, transparent way for clients to always see what is the level of consumption of this particular service, what have I got left for the month, etc. So again, transparency and data-driven approach to all of the services that they're consuming with Epiq. That's really the end goal that we're serving with this for our customers.
Yeah, I would just say make an easy way to work with Epiq, greater visibility into information, easier access to your teams you're working with, and a very convenient way to get to all of your information and your tools.
And this is particularly important with Epiq because Epiq offers so many different services to really support almost end-to-end legal operations and digital transformation.
Yeah. For our client base, digital transformation and UX is important, right? They see it in other verticals, for example, their banking relationships, their relationship with their lenders, and all of these things. Expecting that level of seamless UX to translate into their legal world, I think has had some meaningful pull from the customers as well, in how much easier that makes life and how much easier it makes to work with Epiq.
And Felicia, can you talk a little bit about the relationship between Epiq Service Cloud and Epiq Access? What is Epiq Access specifically?
Sure. Epiq Access is basically the digital front door to the Epiq Service Cloud. So from a user point of view, your touch point to the Epiq Service Cloud is Epiq Access. That's what you're going to log into, see the systems, to see your dashboards, to see the information that you need. So Epiq Access basically makes it real.
And that's what you're going to show us today, is that right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Let's take a look. And to be clear, Felicia, you're able to access a multitude of services through Epiq Access if you are subscribed to those. But we're focusing today on the litigation services.
Yeah, just for the sake of time, I'm going to focus on some use cases that are targeting litigation services. All right, so I've logged into Epiq Access here, and you can see on the left, there are various different modules of Epiq Access, many of which I'll touch on in our demo today. But let's start with the applications module. In this module, you will have access to all of the tools that you need for your services with Epiq. So that could be Epiq provided tools like Epiq Discovery, one of our proprietary tools, or it could be third-party tools like Relativity or Relativity One. Epiq Access provides SSO, single sign-on, to all of these tools. You log into Epiq Access once, and then you can get into these tools because you've already been authenticated. So for instance, if I wanted to get into Epiq Discovery, one click and it's going to pass me in because it already knows who I am. So this is a super convenient way to get to all of your tools all in one panel without having to resubmit your credentials, all nicely organized. Epiq Access provides a couple of different ways to provide single sign-on. We can provide the identity for our users. We can also provide two-factor authentication if they need it, or we can federate with our client's identity provider. So it's a very rich, very secure platform for you to get into these tools and all of the other capabilities in Epiq Access.
And Felicia, I'm seeing here on the screen the Epiq tools and services as well as third-party tools.
Exactly.
Epiq provides a portal into those services as well.
Indeed, because our users, our clients, when they engage us for various services, they use different tools and we bring them all together here so they're all easily accessible, all organized for our users.
Presumably with the same same security and
Absolutely.
level of compliance around all of them as well.
You've got it. Okay, so I'm going to move to reports now, a different module. We have many reports in Epiq Access available to our clients. For the sake of time, I think I'm going to focus on our Epiq Spend History report. It's one of our more popular reports. And this report is really showing a different view of the invoice data for your Epiq invoices. You'll see how our reporting is very interactive, and it really lets you explore your data, whether this report or others, very intuitively. So here you're seeing 14 months of invoice data, and there are some filters up here. You can always filter the data to what you want. But for the moment, we'll look at what comes up, the 14-month data. And down here in the table, you can see your spend by service category. Suppose I wanted to drill down and learn a little bit more about what spend I spent in January. Because these reports are interactive, it's very easy to drill through and see more details. So here I've drilled through on January spend, and I can see by contract, by matter, all of the line item detail for that matter for the month of January. So that's the kind of power that you can see in our reports. You can go from a high-level view down to the detail that you want. Another example of how clients tend to use this report is, sometimes they look at the summary view and they say, I don't know why I wasn't expecting to see, $10,000 worth of services for LTS services, legal transformation services. You just do that same trick. You drill through, and just as easy as that, you can see that navy blue matter. And yeah, we've got some time and support for Epiq Count, and that answers that question. And the ability for clients to come into their own Epiq Access anytime they want that information and very easily find the information they're looking for, that's the kind of value that you get from the reporting and dashboard capability within Epiq Access.
So it's entirely self-serve. They can pull exactly the types of reports they want anytime that they need them.
Yeah, exactly. And any of this data that's in this report, they can also export that data just by clicking those ellipses. They can export the data, they can get a CSV file of that data, and then they can analyze that in the tools they have, whether that's Excel or other tools they have. So that's another piece of value, is all this information, all of this data is then available to our clients.
Are you able to interact with Epiq personnel through the portal as well?
Yes, we do have in particular a tech support feature where you can submit requests for tech support right within Epiq Access, and we have a wizard that would guide you through that process. So I'll show you a little 45-second overview of that. I clicked on tech support. I'm adding a tech support request. And the first thing you do is say, what project do you have a question about? And then we pre-populate these fields with the information that our tech support representative is going to need. So in this particular case, we know the instances, the relativity instances where that matter resides. You tell us the instance, and we pre-populate the workspace name. So we've guided the user to give all of that information so that when you provide your description of the problem, the tech support rep knows who you are. They know where that matter lives, what matter you're asking a question about, and that means they have everything they need to respond very promptly. So that's a quick overview.
So you can ask, is this an ability to, for example, initiate new work streams or a new file with Epiq?
That's actually this work requests module. So I'll give you a little tour of that as well. So work request is really a feature where you can request different e-discovery tasks for your e-discovery work. So here, it's a very similar style wizard to what I was just showing you for tech support. The first thing you pick is the project you want to do some work on, and then you pick what kind of work you want to do. And you'll see this is e-discovery related, and there are many different kinds of work. I think for this one, I'm going to show off a new work request we just launched this quarter, which is authorized project closure. So at the end of your project, when you're ready to close that project and to delete the data, you can do that using Epiq Access. So you would just select that kind of work. Say you want to delete all data. And then the wizard is going to present information for you to make sure you're looking at the right project. Here you're going to see this is the media associated with that project. Here are the processing databases that would be deleted if you delete this project. And here are the hosting databases that would be deleted. So you review all of that, and then it'll tell you a little bit about the timing of the request. And you will get a project closure authorization form in email. You can add additional people to get that via email. You can add comments, and then you get a summary. So this is a summary of your request. After reviewing it, you would authorize it, and then you would submit. And that would submit that request to close that project to your Epiq team. And by doing so, you're going to automatically get that authorization report. And if I had submitted it, that request would show up here in this listing. As a request I had made, it would show up first as new, and then it would move through. You would have visibility as that becomes work in progress all the way to complete. So that's the kind of visibility you get if you do it via Epiq Access. And to be honest, if you do your work request via Epiq Access, your work will be done more quickly because, for one thing, you're avoiding the back and forth in email, and Epiq Access will put that information in the appropriate place. We have automation in the background that grabs that information and immediately starts working on it. So that's a little tour of work requests. We have about a dozen types of work requests. I just walked you through one of them, but we have many others because there's lots of different kinds of work you would do on an e-discovery project.
I like the way it incorporates this kind of element of project management as well into the platform. Can we just quickly go back to the opening screen? I'm curious about the types of products that are available. This is presumably a demo instance. If you are a client of Epiq, are you able to choose which types of third-party products you want? And how do people see that? Is there a library of third-party solutions that they could choose to access through the Epiq Access? And does that obviate the need for them to then individually license those solutions?
Well, you raise a very good point. The visibility of which ones show up here for you, that has to do with what work you're doing with Epiq. And so Epiq Access has a very fine-grained ability to allow you to control who at your law firm or at your corporation has access to what. So we have a conversation and the client would say, I want this team to see those. I want this person to see spend history. And then we can configure Epiq Access to give you very fine-grained control. Which of these applications, you actually see some here that are on the different sides of our service management framework. Which of these applications you get is really controlled by what work you're doing at Epiq. Relativity and Rel 1 would be very e-discovery services focused. Evisort would be something, if you've hired us in an engagement for contract analytics, for instance, we can do that via Evisort. If you have that kind of engagement, then we would enable the Evisort tile for the appropriate people on your team. So what you see here, you're right, this is a bit of a demo environment, so we've got a lot of different things here, but what your lawyers would see or what your firm would see would vary based on what you need for the services you've engaged Epiq for.
And so if you subscribe to a service, then Epiq will say, these are the solutions that are necessary in order for us to provide you those services, and here's where you access those.
Exactly.
Terrific. And just by way of wrapping up, this is available to legal departments, I imagine. Is it also available to law firms that Epiq works with?
Correct.
Fantastic.
So all clients of Epiq can use Epiq Access, and there's no extra fee for using Epiq Access.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. And again, just a reminder to everyone, we saw today litigation type services accessible through Epiq Access, but there are many other types of Epiq services that could also presumably be accessed through Epiq Access and Epiq Service Cloud.
Yes, that's correct.
And we may see more of those in the future on LTH product briefings. But for now, Felicia, thank you so much for this demo. It was very insightful. I can see how useful this would be to Epiq clients. Shah and Felicia, thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks everyone for joining the LTH product briefing. See you next time.